Hello, everybody. So, I guess we're back doing this again because talking about superhero movies by yourself is way too tiring, and trying to write a script about a movie that was incredibly middling, dull, and overall And again, I am joined together with Jack. Say hello, Jack.
Hello, I'm back from WandaVision. This was supposed to be Laugh Twice, but he's a coward. He couldn't get through the movie.
He watched the movie in parts and still couldn't take it. And to be fair, I can understand, as not everybody like me can sit there for 4 hours straight, not move a muscle, and just take it in. Just take it all in and end up with that was a movie I'm gonna forget about real quick.
4 hours well spent.
We'll probably try to avoid talking too much about the behind-the-scenes messes about both of the movies, 2017 and 2021. Family tragedies occurred with Zack Snyder and he had to leave, and then Joss Whedon showed up and then made a complete mess, botched movie with some things that work character-wise, but as a movie, it's just an utter mess. And then Zack Snyder came back and did the same movie again. Less of a mess, but also less interesting to talk about by the sheer fact it's not a mess.
I do not believe, there's no way this was Zack Snyder's original vision. This was Zack Snyder being like, okay, Warner Brothers is giving me $7 million. I'm gonna make my own. I'm just gonna go crazy with it. And you know what? He's earned it. He deserves a little splurge making a movie, making a giant self-indulgent movie. He's earned that.
To get this movie made 4 years after the release of a bomb of a movie, he didn't even get paid, and this is how he has all the power. And you can tell that by the fact that Zack Snyder's Justice League has some of the worst music choices I have ever seen be put in a film, and that is the most Snyder thing you can possibly think of. A movie with really unmatching, kind of cringy music.
Like, he's clearly passionate. I don't want to be too mean. He's very passionate. He's just not good at it.
Hey, he made 3 movies that are mostly style over content, and 3 of them I'm okay with. And the rest I mostly think are lame, confusing, and jumbled. Very much kind of like this one. I must say that I quite like the change in Steppenwolf, because now instead of looking like a weird man from a PS2 game, he looks like a weird dog man from a PS2 game.
The 2 characters that are like most improved by this director's cut are Steppenwolf and Cyborg. Those are the 2 that really benefit from this movie, that were just completely shafted by the original cut. Can I talk about Superman?
Before we talk about characters, let's try to discuss what this movie starts like, is about, and why there's 4 hours long. Also plot, maybe story, and ideas. As you can see, there's lots of things that happen in this movie, but it's hard to collect.
The first hour, the first couple parts of the movie are really boring because it's mainly just things we saw in the original cut, just longer and grayer. So that was a real slog for me, but things picked up around part 3, where we start diving a little bit more into Cyborg's backstory. And that's where things got interesting. And it's still bad, but it was interesting. At least I wasn't bored anymore.
This just shows me, like, this confirms this belief that I have about Zack Snyder's understanding of what a metaphor is supposed to be, and that he doesn't understand them. His opening in the movie is this elongated scream that goes on forever of Superman violently dying.
Superman screams for 5 minutes at the beginning of this movie.
The best part about that is that I didn't even understand what literally happened in that scene, was that his scream actually woke up the boxes. These ancient infinite wisdom MacGuffin boxes that can do anything and do whatever the plot needs them to do. They were scared of this alien, and instead of just sensing that the alien died because they're ancient boxes that can do anything, they knew that he died because they literally heard him.
That's another big problem with this movie. just overstating the importance of Superman. They're not afraid of anyone else on this world, just Superman. It's like, I thought they were a team. I thought the point was that these guys are stronger together than they would be alone. But the real point you're making there is that do they just need Superman, then they're fine.
They just need Superman, but also Batman's kind of cool in Zack Snyder's eyes, so like he can do something cool every so often. Not necessarily do something useful, but he can somehow accidentally fall into the solution of bringing back Superman to life because we need Superman to do everything, otherwise this team is useless and can't beat Steppenwolf at any point. But they can totally take Darkseid. It's fine because Superman is back.
I'm very confused not what Steppenwolf's plan was, but what his reasoning for coming to Earth was. Because at first they're like, oh, Steppenwolf wants to get the mother boxes because during a battle centuries ago, Apocalypse tried to invade Earth, and then the forces of Earth were able to force them back, but while they were retreating, they left the mother boxes on Earth. They also say in that flashback that with the 3 mother boxes together, you get the anti-life equation.
Oh no, Jack, the thing is, the anti-life equation is a different thing that also happens to be on Earth. The boxes have nothing to do with the anti-life equation, they both just happen to fall on Earth.
I thought that in the flashback scene they were saying like with the boxes combined you get the anti-life equation, and Darkseid made his parademons with the anti-life equation.
Nope, it's just also there. To be fair, I'm not fairly certain because a lot of this movie just sounds like whenever they're explaining how either the boxes work or what the anti-life is supposed to do within the movie, I'm very confused what separates themselves from each other.
I thought in the movies lore, I thought they were the same thing.
I'm pretty sure they're separate. I just assume they're separate because otherwise Steppenwolf would have gotten in it and then also concluded Darkseid's plan, but
they still knew, in the flashback, even if the mother boxes aren't connected to anti-life, they had anti-life on Earth. The Darkseid does the thing where he smashes the ground and the symbol pops up. And I assumed that meant anti-life because later when Steppenwolf realizes that anti-life is on Earth, he does the thing also where he smashes the ground and the symbol pops up. And that's the imagery for the audience to show, oh, he's figured it out. So wouldn't Darkseid know that the same planet he left the mother boxes on is the one that has anti-life on it?
I'm pretty sure in the movie he just says, what planet is this? And they say Earth. So I assume he just forgot. He just forgot that.
But like, okay, wait, why was Steppenwolf also in that flashback has so many problems. Like the flashback shows Darkseid just getting his ass handed to him. Like just one arrow knocks him out. He's done for the fight when it gets one arrow in the shoulder.
And some lightning, to be fair, some lightning.
But he's most of just flailing his arms and grunting like the Hulk for most of it.
And also none of this matters because all of this is sequel bait that literally will never come up.
Hopefully.
Unless somehow Zack Snyder makes his own movie for free.
If there is a merciful God, this movie will never get a sequel.
Wait, aren't you excited about the Nightmare World? Oh wait, let's not talk about the Nightmare World. Let's save it to almost the very last second, just like the movie did. So instead, let's talk about other things. And I don't know what to talk about because there's just infinity of mistakes and weirdness to talk about. Let's talk about the Flash's introduction scene. Did you like that?
The worst scene, worse than any scene in the Whedon cut. That is the worst scene and probably among the worst scenes in any of the Snyder DC movies. So cringy, so painful.
He sees this girl for like 2 seconds. Her life is in danger. So he just takes his time to like touch her hair, look at her face. And
then she almost dies because a truck driver is reaching for his big tasty burger that he chopped while he was driving. Just pawing around, trying to get his burger and barreling down the road.
The thing about the Flash in this one is that it feels like there's less of him. He doesn't say, wow, this is like a cave. It's like the Bat Cave. And then he looks at the audience and demands you to laugh.
Does he say that?
It's like a cave.
I don't remember that.
Nobody remembers the Whedon Cut's okay. Nobody's gonna remember this either, except if you're a Snyder insane individual.
Unless you're a Snyder cultist.
Truly a cultist that he probably doesn't even want. He just like, I just want to make my Batman Return movies.
I think he wants them because they were in part the reason he got to make this movie.
He doesn't really ask them to do anything. They just do that for him. And he's like, I guess I'll be able to do the thing I wanted. And I'm not surprised that this is a movie that people are like, hey, it's better than you expect by something that was a jumbled mess. But that's a really low standard, though. I was going to swap completely topics to more examples of Zack Snyder. His idea of metaphor is just imagery and not much else. Cyborg can hack anything. Oh, you can hack into the White House, into the stock market, and into the bear market. In front of him, he just sees the bull from Wall Street and the bear market from Russia having a cool fight in front of him.
That's classic Zack Snyder's just visuals, constant style over substance. Although I will say, I liked when he helped the lady. It was when he gave her like $100,000. That's what this movie needed more of. Superheroes helping people. That's like the only scene I can think of in this movie where a superhero helps a person.
Aren't you forgetting Wonder Woman totally not bombing a building for no reason?
Let me just talk about that scene. First of all, the terrorists' plan make no sense. Why is their goal to set civilization back 1,000 years? You can just make them bank robbers. You don't need to give your terrorists this much of a backstory if they're only going to be in one scene. Their plan to accomplish this setting civilization back 1,000 years is to blow up what they say. Blow up several city blocks, and that's gonna set civilization back 1,000 years.
Jack, I feel like you're thinking too much for this movie. You have to remember that Wonder Woman had that fun Fortnite dance when she's protecting the kids from the bullets, even though she's both faster than a bullet and faster than the guy can pull the trigger. She uses her bracelets that have the power of Zeus imbued in them to vaporize this man and also bomb this building and cause more damage than the terrorists. I really like that part.
Another Zack Snyder thing is just making his heroes so brutally violent. That doesn't feel heroic to me, and I guess that's not even like a criticism, really, that's just a personal preference thing.
The most heroic thing a hero can do is get his butler to drive his car for him that is a giant tank to fire a parademons while he has a cool fight with Steppenwolf and Wonder Woman and the Flash are there. And Cyborg is actually helping people. Again, Cyborg is the only hero in this movie. He's at least attempting to be more human and helping people. He tried to save his dad. He gave the money to that lady. I have run out of examples, so let's go back to this nonsense. Before we start talking about, I think, Superman now, I don't know. We have talked about other things, like the fights with Steppenwolf. All of them feel pointless. I know that they have to have one fight with him so they can realize how weak they are without Superman, because Superman is Jesus. He's buff Jesus. Superman is Jesus. Everybody praise Superman. But I can't talk about almost any of the actions. It's just all are so I
mean, I thought the action was probably one of the better parts of the movie, honestly. But it's like...
that goes to show how good it is overall. It's like completely middling. I don't hate it like you do because I don't care how much they make a superhero different. Because I'm like, there's so many different versions of the comics. This one is just a bad one, you know?
The reason it bothers me so much when movies get it wrong is just because this is the version most people are going to see. And like, as a long-suffering Superman fan, I know the pain of hearing people say, Superman's boring, he's too powerful, he has no personality. And then just have Zack Snyder come in here and give that version of Superman that everyone thinks Superman is.
I'll agree. These versions of these heroes, maybe excluding Cyborg, are all wet pieces of paper that don't do anything interesting or have any interesting dynamic with any of the other heroes at all. Cyborg literally is the only person that like kinda has an interaction with Aquaman. I do miss a likable Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill is very charismatic. I can't give credit to Justice League 2017. I can like say that those scenes out of context can at least seem like a good Superman, but that movie is completely incomprehensible. Like a bat cave. I can't say that adding Alfred Moore to this movie was necessary, but man, he can act.
Yeah, Jeremy Irons, he knows what he's doing.
He serves tea very well. That was my favorite part of the movie, was when he was like complaining to Wonder Woman that she doesn't know how to make tea. I don't know if this is before or after reshoots and reshoots, but Jason Momoa from time to time seems to not care at all of how he delivers any of his lines, so he's just doing whatever he wants. It feels like Aquaman isn't in this movie just because he's absent and detached from everything. He just shows up from time to time, spears a guy, and continues on like nothing happened.
Oof.
We can talk about Superman now, because I think we got to the part of the movie where they revive him and they have the same exact fight.
It's not the same exact fight, because in the original version of the movie and the theatrical version, Batman actually has a plan. It's Batman who brings in Lois Lane to calm him down. But in this version of the movie, Batman has no plan and she just shows up. So he makes Batman actively dumber in this movie.
Both versions have extremely contrived reasons, and they're created by the same character. How we got that character there and how much of a lazy writing that is, I think both are terrible. It's fine. He's in the farm now and he's talking to his mom.
That's a big problem with Superman in these movies, is like Zack Snyder, again, like I said, he doesn't want to give Superman a personality for some reason, and his only character trait, besides being a Jesus metaphor, is loving Lois Lane. Her being there is enough to make him not evil anymore. They imply that her dying makes him evil. The only reason Superman is a good guy is Lois Lane. She's the reason he loves humanity. What are you talking about? That's so insulting. Like, I don't want to say I'm offended by this movie, but if I was offended by anything in this movie, it would be that.
Lois Lane actually does have a superpower and is just making you pretty chill.
Just make Darkseid fall in love with Lois, and he won't be evil anymore. I have more to say about Superman. So,
please, go ahead.
I had been told that Zack Snyder butchered Superman in this movie, but I was cautiously optimistic. The scene in the field, he's got the butterfly on his hand and he's looking at it, and then like his mom comes in and he's hugging Lois and his mom. This is promising. This could be Superman. And then it goes to the Fortress of Solitude, walks directly past the blue suit, and puts on the black suit. And I was like, come on. I hate the black suit. The black suit is like the biggest symbol of 90s edgy extremeness, and I just can't stand it. I was still holding out hope for Superman till the very last second, because like he flies in, stops Steppenwolf's axe, and like uses his freeze breath to destroy it. That's a Superman move. Just destroy the villain's weapon and then maybe try to de-escalate the situation with your words before you resort to punching. But no, he like lasers his horn off and just beats him senseless on the ground when he can't even fight back. He's just standing over him, emotionlessly punching this man to death. This guy who is not fighting back, who cannot fight back against him.
If you're able to see and understand what's happening within the gray blob, some of it is fine. It's nothing great unless you talk to Snyder cultists. They'll say that the aspect ratio provides you more picture, which is insanity and doesn't make sense and is false. And that the Joker interaction is the best Joker interaction that they have ever seen.
Best Batman Joker interaction of all time. Look for any other interaction between Batman and the Joker and you'll find a better one than the one in this movie.
The one where he doesn't meet up with the Joker in Suicide Squad and punches Harley hard in the face and breaks her nose is a better interaction between the Joker and the Batman than this. This was like the most embarrassing thing. And the best part about it wasn't actually an interaction between the Joker and the Batman, because Ben Affleck and Jared Leto were never in the same set together at all. Well, he probably was too embarrassed to go into the same set as Jared Leto dressed as the Joker.
I don't blame Ben Affleck. I wouldn't want to be in the same room as Jared Leto either, even when he's not dressed as the Joker. Jared Leto improvised that scene.
It's such a bad scene, all of it.
When did they record the "We live in a society" line?
We live in a society.
Because that wasn't in the movie. They baited us.
That's a different cut. There's a different cut. There's a black and white cut of Justice League.
Release the other Snyder cut. Oh, do you want to know another thing that made me really mad? So I already talked about how I didn't like that Superman wore the black suit instead of the blue suit. I hated how at the very end of the movie when he does the thing where he rips his shirt open to reveal the Superman S, it's still the black suit. But then in the apocalypse scene, when Superman flies in, he's wearing the blue suit. He's wearing the blue suit when he's evil. That should be the other way around.
I want to die.
It's like I'm like trying to think back of what happened, but my brain is actively like erasing it from my mind. It's all leaving my brain as we speak.
I have one more thing I would like to say.
Go ahead.
The only reason I want to see more Zack Snyder movies is to find out how Deathstroke got that mohawk. When Deathstroke showed up with that mohawk, that was my biggest laugh of the movie. It was so stupid.
My biggest laugh was being confused of where the Joker got kitchen gloves. They're not even like nice gloves, and he just wears them. I'm like, oh my god, what is any of this? And this is after like we have the cool Superman makes a fatality in Steppenwolf after Steppenwolf gets stabbed in the back violently by Aquaman.
At least the way Steppenwolf goes out in this movie, I'll acknowledge, is less stupid than the original cut where he becomes afraid and then the parademons smell his fear and eat him.
I forgot that was a thing. Yeah, the super strong guy that can only be beaten by Superman was defeated by the parademons. The parademons that got defeated by Batman, the normal human man.
What are your superpowers again? I'm rich.
I like that people were saying that the Flash scene was like the best scene ever made because Zack Snyder is attached to the movie. All he did was go back in time, something that the Flash does all the time and something that always breaks every sort of continuity logic necessary for any story.
Yeah, that scene was just nothing.
And the only thing I got was the soundtrack.
Okay, that's all I have to say. I'm done now.
After Steppenwolf got his head cut off, I'm like, well, I don't have any investment anymore. The guy that looked like a dog is out, so like, why care? It was 4 hours of a more coherent story about aliens coming to Earth and people getting together to beat the aliens. It's a really simple plot that neither didn't need to be an incoherent mess, also didn't need to be 4 hours long. We got some better characterization from some of the characters. Flash is still really lame, and I don't like his actor. At least Cyborg got to say things, I guess.
I'll say this, I did not like the movie. I very much hated it, but I respect Zack Snyder's, like, Zack Snyder wanted to make it, and he's earned one movie. He's earned one self-indulgent movie. If you give him sequels, it's pushing it, but you know, he's gone through some stuff. He's earned one self-indulgent, terrible movie.
He's making his zombie movies. Let him make that instead. Make it simpler, let it just be visuals, whatever. As long as it's not like 4 hours long and I don't have to acknowledge its existence, I think I'll be happy because this movie, it's so dull. Whedon's at least is a terrible cluttered mess. This was more coherent and spread out, so it makes it less interesting. I guess I have to give it to it. It's technically the better movie.
Yeah, just by virtue of being a complete movie.
By being completed and finished, it's better than the not finished movie. And that's all we can give Zack Snyder Justice League. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye.
Bye.